Have you heard the old saying, don't judge a book by its cover? But that's what people do, right? We judge everything by outward appearances. In my experience, a great album cover can make or break the decision on whether I buy an album. So go on a journey with me as we look at some great album cover designs and talk about why I believe that you need a personal designer for your album artwork. This is Judged by the Cover.
Welcome to the Judged by the Cover podcast. I'm Josh, and this is our first podcast of 2024, and I have some really exciting news for you guys. I've been trying to figure out how to continue to grow and improve the podcast, and I decided that it was time to bring on a co-host. Now, I knew exactly who I wanted to join me. You've heard him before on the podcast if you're a regular listener, and I'm excited to introduce him. So everyone, give a big round of applause to Phil Highland, the new co-host of the Judged by the Cover podcast.
Man. Woo, what an honor. Like, when you asked me to be your co-host, I'm going to date myself immediately, but I felt like you're Johnny Carson and I'll be your Ed McMahon.
Hey,
Ed McMahon was just like the wingman, you know,
Yeah.
and every once in a while he would chime in. But no, I had a great time when I was actually a guest on your podcast. And I
Yeah.
think when we were talking about me joining you, already like ideas started to spark. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and we got together last week and just kind of shot some ideas at each other, and just like we both got really excited about what we got coming up. So it's going to be a lot of fun. For those of you that haven't listened to Phil's interviews, so that was the Too Good Girlfriend interview in May, I believe, is
Yeah, a while
when that
back.
was. So you guys can go back and check that out. But Phil, just give us the quick. Who's Phil? Where are you from?
Mm-hmm.
What do you know about music? All that fun stuff.
Sure, yeah. I'm Phil, and man, I'm from Richmond, Virginia originally. And I started out as a teenage, child actor on stage, and then did TV and film, and lived in Hollywood and lived in New York City, started a band. And when I was doing the band stuff in New York, I was doing a lot of roadie work when I wasn't gigging, and like working in Lenny Kravitz's warehouse. And then I'd play Woodstock 1998, the year before they burned it all down.
Oh, no.
And so I got really into writing, especially as an actor. I always was reliant on other people to hire me or give me material. So music really fulfilled that. Let me write for myself. And wrote an album, toured an album, and do a lot of singles. And I still write, I still record,
Cool. Yeah. And we've gotten to work a lot together on album covers and stuff like that. So before we get started, we are going to give a quick second for our sponsors, and then we're going to jump right back in. Did you know that Judged by the Cover is brought to you by JW Creates? JW Creates is your graphic design source, specializing in cover art design, logos, websites, and so much more. As a musician myself, I fell in love with album covers, and this fueled a passion to visually tell stories and promote branding through the art of graphic design. To learn more, see some of my work, or if you're interested in connecting with me, go to jwcreates.com. Judged by the Cover is proud to be a part of the Podnugan Network. If you are a fellow podcaster looking for a partner to help give you the tools to make your show the best it can be, or just interested in connecting with other podcasters in the Chattanooga area, make sure to follow Podnugan Network on Facebook and Instagram, or learn more at chatpod.com. So that's chat with 2 T's, pod.com. All right, so we're back. What I was thinking as a way to get Phil on board with us here, we'd start by doing something fun. So one thing that I've been thinking about, and I actually had this dream, I wanted to talk about the best of the best album covers, physical packaging, music, and stuff like that from 2023. And I had this grand idea that I wanted to do this full on, almost like an award show kind of thing,
Dang.
and contact people and see
Right.
if they wanted
Wear
to
a tux or something.
Right,
Yeah.
right, yeah. We'll have to figure that out in the budget. But
Thrift store.
there you go. I like your style. What we want to do today is just talk about the best of the best. We're going to start with album covers, and then we're going to talk about some physical packaging. And then also get into some music and stuff like that. So usually you kind of save the big one for last, but what we want to start with is talking about album covers. So me and Phil were kind of talking about some stuff. I've got one that I'm going to share with y'all first. And Phil, I believe, has something that we're going to be talking about as well. So for 2023, of the music that I listened to and discovered, My album cover of the year goes to a band called Granville out of Athens, Georgia. I kept wanting to say Dalton. It's Athens, Georgia. So it's self-titled. It's just called Granville. And I tell you what, this album cover to me, it's just awesome. It's done by an artist. His name is Josh Hunter, and there's actually a really cool video on Instagram for both Josh Hunter and the band Granville, where they go through and it shows him like concepting it and drawing it out. It's actually really cool.
Was it 3D? Was it a 3D like setup?
So I don't know if it was a 3D setup. It's all digital art, so we're just gonna swing this out here where Phil can see it too.
Right.
So what grabbed me is I'm a car guy, and so the image, and you'll see this. You guys can see all the digital content on my website. That's jwcreates.com/notes. You're gonna see the best of 2023 blog posts there, and everything will be linked in there, so you'll be able to see it. So it's a digital art piece, and what it is we're looking into kind of the cockpit or the cab of a car. And it looks like an 80s, maybe late 70s GM. I think it's like a Pontiac Bonneville is kind of what it looks like. But it's hand drawn. The colors are really cool. You got these like deep like orange and brown colors. And then kind of the backdrop of it is it kind of looks like it's supposed to be like an old road with like dark trees on the sides.
Yeah.
And then you see the four guys out in the distance, kind of in the moonlight. I
love the perspective of that. You're this top view down, and it just kind of funnels to the guys.
Yeah. Yeah. So really cool. There's a lot of detail, just like the detail stuff in the car, just to do that in like a digital painting kind of format.
Right.
It's tough.
What is that red stuff? Is that like, because I'm looking at your laptop. What is that red image on the dash?
So I almost just think that it's just kind of the dash, and I think it's supposed to kind of show the contour and stuff like that of the dash. But you even have like there's a little cigarette in the cigarette holder, and you got the smoke coming up off of it.
I see that.
You see that?
Yeah, it's cool. Like when you drill into the details, it's got like a movie poster vibe, almost like a Stranger Things vibe in a way. Not too much like that, but kind of like, hey, this could be like. Remember the horror movie Christine?
Yes.
Where the killer car. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah. No, I love the kind of the dark, moody vibe of it, and just like it just kind of captures me.
What's their music like? Is their music dark?
It's not really dark. It's actually a little bit more. To me, they feel like they don't belong in this era. They almost belong in like the 70s. Like if you imagine like 70s rock and roll.
Yeah.
But man, on top of it, the music is really good. Like the guitar player is top notch. The guitar tones are like they're awesome. Phil is a fellow guitar player, so I know he enjoys some of those details. I wouldn't call it dark, but it's definitely got like 70s rock and roll vibes. It's really cool though.
Now, who tipped you off on this band? How'd you discover them?
So I'm pretty sure it was Instagram. I was probably just doom scrolling like we do. And it popped up, and I believe it was this video where it shows the artist drawing it out.
Okay.
And so I'm like, dude, that's awesome. Like, what am I looking at here?
I love it when they do that and it's animated. You're super engaged. Like, that's cool.
Yeah, and so you see him like backing out.
Oh, his logo changed too.
Yeah. So you get to see like the whole process of him like conceptualizing it and
that's
and
wicked.
drawing it out.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing about, because in the 70s, these artists would just either paint it or, they would design it manually, paper.
Yeah.
But to this process, you're still doing it manually, but you have that animation feature because it's saving every move.
Yeah.
And you could almost do like a music video to this creation piece.
Yeah, I think the song that this resonates the most with on the album is a song called Terrible Things. And they even have a music video out on it. I have not watched the music video, but I know it's out there. But we will make sure to add that to the notes page as well. So for 2023, of the music that I discovered and I saw, that was my favorite. And
That's
like
fun.
I said, it's got that artist feel. The car is really cool. The details, there's a lot of detail in it. It's like the more you look at it, the more details that start jumping out at you.
And you know what's funny? Like, because a lot, maybe you're thinking like, well, why are we so talking about, graphic design and cover art so much? But the mere fact that we're talking about this band who I haven't heard, now it makes me want to go listen to them.
Yeah.
Just because we're having this conversation, talking about their cover art, because that's your first impression.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. And in this world, especially, social media has us so like short-sighted when it comes to a lot of stuff. And like our attention spans are only good for so long. So something like this to catch your attention, that's kind of what it takes now, especially for a young band. I don't know how young these guys are. From the photos on their website, they look pretty young.
Right.
They've got to be like college age, early mid-20s. So they're young guys. They're trying to get started, and yeah, I fell in love with this album. It's probably one of my favorite albums that I discovered this year.
That's a big nod. I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, 100% need to check it out. It's right up your alley. Stuff that you would love.
And that's what I love about Spotify. Like, I can immediately just be like, okay, let me check this band out.
And what I hate is I tried looking on their website to see if they have physical copies. Like, I want a physical copy of that.
Yeah.
Whether it's a CD or something like that.
Or a vinyl, if they did a vinyl run.
Yeah, 100%. Because, it would fit in with what I've got going on.
Or a poster, bands
Posters
still
are pretty
print
cool.
posters.
Yeah. They've got a bunch of T-shirts and stuff like that. But I don't know. They're close enough. We might just have to hit up a show and see what they got.
I would roll down to Athens with you, because Athens, Georgia is a hotbed of music.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm discovering. I would have never
It goes way
known
back.
that.
Way back to a band called the B-52s.
We could get into a little history.
We
there.
could. We really could.
So, Granville, self-titled album. That's my album cover of the year. What do you got, Phil?
I don't know if it's album cover of the year, but it definitely, I saw an artist last year open for Steve Earle. Steve Earle's a legacy artist. I guess you would call him I guess he started out in, Tennessee or Nashville as a country artist in the 90s. And he had a long history of, I guess in and out of some trouble. But he had an artist named Willie T. Taylor open for him at Songbirds.
Yeah.
And my friend Chris invited me down. And I saw Willie T play solo opening for Steve Earle, just with a baritone guitar, just his vocals. And I was blown away. And then I met him at his merch table, setting up all his t-shirts and stuff. And his album from last year, it was, for sale. I don't know if it's winning art concept, but you can look at Willie T. Taylor's album from 2023, look at the cover and decide for yourself. But the music I fell in love with his music based on his performance.
Yeah.
And then you listen to the album and it's a proper studio album. But my favorite track on that Willie T. Taylor album is a song called Chickamauga. And it's about a Civil War soldier taking his last breath, dying in a creek. And he's like going to heaven, and he sees his girlfriend, and it kills me.
Yeah.
This song. And I don't think many people are writing like that anymore. And I'm a big like pop guy, British Invasion guy.
Yeah.
80s music, synth pop, new wave. And this is like straight up Americana kind of cowboy country. And I love it, man.
Yeah. So after we talked about him, I went through and listened, and it's just like, it's raw. The songwriting is it's just like what's the word? There's a word that is escaping me right now.
Organic or stripped down.
Yeah, and it's just like, simple's not the right way to put it either, but it's just like, it just gets to the heart of what the song is about, and like it just like it brings you in. Like you were talking about, you really talked about that song Chickamauga, and it's super descriptive, and it pulls you in, and like you start feeling like empathetic for like this guy's situation, and he's like
it's a story, and it's like, why it's not on at least country radio. I don't know why, but or maybe it is, maybe it's gotten play. I really don't know, but he's prolific too. Like so that just seeing the guy play solo live and then to dig into that album and to fall in love with that track. And I simply clicked on that song Chickamauga because I live right by Chickamauga Lake and Chickamauga Creek and all, where we are here in Tennessee.
Just south of us, yeah.
And I was just like, man, this guy can write, you know?
Yeah, so he does have some really cool visuals. I think
Yeah.
the album that the Chickamauga song is off of, and I'm checking it.
It's just like his face. It almost looks like a
Mhm.
litho, almost like a screened litho on paper. It's
Yeah.
like black and white. And then I think it's like an orange or goldish tone for his, the lettering.
Yeah, yeah. It almost looks like it's almost like pencil drawn too.
Yeah.
It's wispy. It is really cool.
It's really cool. I don't know if it's going to, be the 2023 grand prize winner, but it is cool because it fits the artist. Like
Exactly.
when you meet him and you see him playing, he plays in overalls. He looks like one of the members of ZZ Top. He's got this
Come
orange
on.
beard, right? So that's a plus. And he wears sunglasses, so he kind of looks like Johnny Cash, ZZ Top, and he's amazing. But that fits him. Like that graphic
Yeah.
design, that album cover fits him as an artist.
Yeah, so this album is Knuckleball Prime.
Mhm. That's it.
Yeah, yeah, really cool. No, I dig it. It's pretty simple, but it fits the music. It's stripped down.
Yeah. And I think people are hungry for that music. And like I said, I don't normally gravitate towards that music. But for 2023, for a friend to invite me to a
Yeah.
live show and for me to fall in love with an artist who's in that genre, that's an anomaly, you know?
Yeah.
Like I listen to that album start to finish and it's beautiful, man.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Those like unexpected because
Yeah.
you're probably like folk guy, okay, whatever. But
Mhm.
like to be like,
And
You
then I think like, I wish I could write songs like that. So descriptive. Like,
Yeah.
how do you write a song from a Civil War soldier's perspective? A dying young man
Yeah,
dreaming about his girlfriend rowing to him in a boat. I mean, it's
yeah,
creepy good,
yeah,
sad good.
yeah. And that's the songwriter in Phil coming out. Phil's a pretty good
Oh.
songwriter too.
I
Don't
hear
let 'em
some
fool
of
you.
these songs, man. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put my pen down, you know. But hey, I've got a couple gems that I'm happy about.
Yeah, yeah.
we all
No,
do.
and I feel the same way. Like as a graphic designer, when I see something that's really well designed, I'm just like, man,
Yeah.
I wish I'd have been the one to do that. So
But I think that's all the process of doing. The more we do it, I'm never going to stop writing songs. You're never going to stop creating album covers. It's fun. It's art. It is
Yeah.
art.
yeah, yeah. No, I love that one. So good job.
Thank
I
you.
like that one.
Yeah, thank you.
So kind of the next category, the thing that I've been thinking about, and it's something that we don't get to, I guess, do very often, is actually see, feel, and touch like physical packaging
Mhm. Yep.
with music, and it's kind of interesting, and we'll probably do a podcast just about this, but the fact that a lot of these physical formats, vinyl, even CD, stuff like that, is coming back. Like young people even want that tactile kind of feeling, and there's just something really cool. I've got some of these album covers up here on the wall, like this Chicago 10 album. That's a cool experience, man.
Yeah,
It looks like a chocolate bar,
I love that.
and then when you open it up, there's this really awesome photograph, like fun photo on the
Yeah.
inside. And then you pull up the liner notes. It's just an experience that we don't get because everything is so digital. It's all on these things
Yeah.
anymore.
And don't forget, like back in the day when we were buying these albums when they came out,
Yeah.
specifically these albums, even the ZZ Top or name any band, that was your money you made babysitting or cutting grass,
Right.
And you would drop $8 maybe, and you would buy that album. You'd bring it home immediately. You'd open it up, put it on your platter, play it, start to finish, have to flip sides, and you would invest the rest of your afternoon in the liner notes and
Yeah.
all the artwork in it. And we love that, man. That's how we got to know the artist.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's kind of sad that we don't get to do that as much
Agreed.
with new music. But there are still artists that are putting the time, the effort, and everything into physical packaging. And there was one that really blew me away, and it's an artist that I wouldn't have thought that I would like.
Hmm.
So for physical packaging, mine is Jelly Rolls, and I think it's
Oh,
Whitsit Chapel.
okay.
It's actually a pretty cool album. There's some good songs on there, and there's just a lot of just open, honest, transparent writing in
Yeah.
this album. But what's really cool is the packaging. So before the album came out, he sent out these boxes that, you know, had all the like the promo stuff, you know, the hats, the t-shirts, the
that.
CD, vinyl. But the one thing that was in this packaging that was awesome was what he called the hymnal. So playing on the whole church theme, he had this whole booklet basically made that has like handwritten notes is what it looks like. And they may be handwritten or it may be, you know, faked by, you know, a designer that's really good.
Right.
But it's got notes in there. It's got photos. It's got drawings.
I love it.
And you flip through it, you read everything. It's like the new liner notes.
Right.
And in the back is a CD.
That's huge.
Now he's got all the other stuff. He's got the vinyl with different colored vinyls that are
Right.
really cool and the CDs and stuff like that. But this is awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm kicking myself because I had an opportunity to buy one of these for like $30 and they're gone.
And I should have bought Willie T. Taylor's album from his merch table. But
Yeah.
I'm an idiot. I didn't do I don't know why I didn't. I was talking to him,
Right,
which
you
is
were
a
up there.
bonus, but I should have bought that album to have the physical. For an artist to, you know, that's a blessing to come out with a packaging like that, like a big box set. I mean, that's major label stuff, but man, that's rare. And
Yeah.
shame on you. You should.
I should have. And it was $30. Why didn't I buy it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I just loved it because it plays into the theme of it. It plays on that whole liner notes idea. And I could just imagine just flipping through there and just reading everything, reading all the notes, reading the lyrics,
Yeah.
kind of like what Phil explained, you know, what they
Yeah.
used to do back in the day. So, yeah, that's really cool. And that's just something that artists in general aren't doing anymore. And for good reason. I'm sure that's got to be pretty expensive to.
That's very expensive. I remember when we were making our first CD, it was priced out how many folds. Like, okay, do you want to just have a one sheet, so your cover art, and then you flip it over and you got your credits, or do you want to do a booklet where you've got, you know, 4 pages, 6 pages, 8 pages? Do you want lyrics? And you know, I think we did like 1, 2, 3 fold out, so you
Yeah.
had 6 sides total,
Yeah,
and then we
yeah.
utilized. This is when you're making CDs.
Yeah.
But yeah, to go big with the packaging, that's really how the artist is sharing their art.
Proud member of the Podnuga Network.